Hi, this is Friar Tim at his Friarside chat for Thursday, April 16th. You can see it's a different venue because we are outside the Catholic Charities Durham Food Pantry, where you can see behind the line of cars lined up for food for the needy. The approximately 180 or so households come by for food. There is both a need for food, but there's also a strong need for volunteering. One of the important things that in the midst of the crisis in which we find ourselves is to not be self-centered and self-consumed. Pope Francis, in his homily on Sunday, talked about the importance of not allowing indifference to enter into our lives, but to step out and to recognize a greater issue and a greater problem. The Catholic Charities Durham Food Pantry has a great need for volunteers, and for that I'd like to turn you over to our parishioner, Kevin Sullivan, who is a candidate for the permanent diaconate and who has been working with Catholic Charities. Kevin.
So if you are someone who is over age 60 or you have a serious pre-existing condition, especially diabetes or any sort of breathing problem, then Catholic Charities and other groups around the diocese can use your support doing home-based ministry things like making masks, making phone calls, assisting with development for various groups. If you're someone who is younger than 60 and doesn't have any serious pre-existing conditions, and if you're also not living with someone with a pre-existing condition or who him or herself is vulnerable, then we would love to have your help here on the ground performing some of these works of mercy, distributing food, dealing with guests who need intake, who need food and shelter, who have needs for healthcare and other things like that. And we would love for you to join any number of the efforts that we have ongoing throughout the diocese here at Catholic Charities and with other groups to engage in these critical works of mercy at this essential time.
As many of you know, much of the good work that keeps things going around the world is done by people who are of a certain age, generally 70 and above, who have volunteered generously over the course of time. Obviously, many of those volunteers cannot come and do this now because of their own health concerns and because of the lock-in-place orders. So we're really asking for people to step out who are younger, and most especially, I make this appeal to our student community. Even if you're not in the immediate Durham area, if you could contact Catholic Charities wherever you happen to be sheltering with your families, that would be extremely helpful because we need young people. There are good protocols in place to keep people safe. I started with the word witness earlier, and that's a very important word. The Greek word for witness is martyr. And already in the 3rd century, when the church was facing significant persecution, the church cautioned against taking unnecessary risks. So we're making sure that people are not taking unnecessary risks. But for those who are in the relatively healthy end of the spectrum and the younger end of the spectrum, we do need help, most particularly with volunteers. Kevin, last word, where can they go to volunteer?
So each Catholic Charities Center around North Carolina, both in Eastern North Carolina serving the Diocese of Raleigh and in the Diocese of Charlotte, has volunteer coordinators that assist in volunteer efforts at each specific center. You can come to us at the Newman Center and we can provide you with information on particular centers, or you can reach directly out to your local Catholic Charities organization. There are some other Catholic organizations like the St. Joseph Medical Ministry that are looking for other types of volunteers as well. And if you reach out to me or to the parish staff, we'll connect you with those folks for those opportunities.
Okay, God bless, take care, and continue to pray for not only the end of the COVID virus, but for all of those who are impacted, most particularly those who are impacted who are the poor, the most vulnerable. God bless. Bye-bye.